Hello and welcome. I'm Sherry and this is my channel, Aegean Dreams. I am an American woman living on this Greek island with my Greek husband and sharing my life with you. So today I really want to talk about lessons relearned for me. And the lesson that I nearly forgot last week was don't always believe everything your brain tells you. Especially if you have somehow allowed yourself to fall into one of those survival mode things. And you can do that by being overly tired, hungry, stressed, depressed. Any of these things can have your brain take over and try to save you from a perceived saber-toothed tiger. There's a lot of life lessons, and I have learned this one again and again, but sometimes life moves too quickly and we can get swept up in a moment and don't have the time to take that breath to bring ourselves back to center. And it's like a Slurpee freeze. You know darn well that if you slurp a Slurpee, that's hard to say, too fast, you're going to get a brain freeze. Well, that's kind of what I had last week, was a brain freeze moment. I had driven down to Galatas, which is across from the island of Poros, to the Olympic Odyssey Glamping. And that's where my friend, and they also have on the island, Poros Island, they have Odyssey Hotel. But this is the glamping. And I was there to do a show that evening, a jewelry show. I do jewelry shows at both places. But this time it was at the glamping. And it was for a group of Dutch girls that were there on a yoga retreat. And I love to work with the Dutch girls. But when I got there, I realized that my wooden props that I used for the show were over at the hotel where I had left them the last show I did, which was for a watercolor group workshop from America. And I had just left them there. So I really needed to get them. And I thought, now what? Oh, first thing that pops in my mind is Michelle. Michelle is a wonderful friend of mine who works at the hotel, the Odyssey Hotel. And I knew if I called Michelle, she would grab my bag of props, take them down to the port, put them on a water taxi, and send them to me, and that would be that. But I also know that Michelle is extremely busy and extremely busy, and she cannot say no to anybody, especially she wouldn't say no to me. So I thought, no, that's a no-go. You need to get in your car and go yourself. Not a big deal. Or so I thought. I drove just a few 5 minutes to the Galatas port, which is a very tiny little port. It's where the car ferry goes back and forth regularly through the day. And usually it's not a big deal. But this day, it was jam-packed with cars. I had never seen the place like this. I couldn't even get close to the boarding dock. There were cars just all over the place, higgly-piggly parked anywhere and everywhere, and a line of foot passengers all waiting to get tickets to get on the boat. The ferry boat. Well, the biggest thing was I could not even find a place to put Harula, my car, so that I could go stand in line and get a ticket for us to go across to the island. Oh, what was I going to do? I couldn't even find a place to park and then go take a water taxi. There was no place to put a car. And I had a parking ticket there before, and I didn't want to get one again. I drove around the port 2 times before finally somebody moved and I had a place to slide in Harula and go get in line and get my ticket. I finally get my ticket. I'm totally stressed. It's very hot. I get in the car and I turn on the air conditioner and I sit there and wait for 2 loads of boats to come and go, come and go. Finally, the third boat that comes, well, it's the same boat, it just goes back and forth. Finally, the girl waves me over. Come on, Nissan, come on. So, but now I have to back the car onto the ferry, and it's a narrow ferry, and it always stresses me out. I mean, the guys are great, how they direct you. So I finally get the car on, and I take a breath, and I'm like, okay, Sherry, you have 5 minutes to center yourself. Let's breathe a little bit, calm down. Let's make a plan. So my plan was first to eat something. It was now 11 o'clock. I left my house at 6 a.m. on nothing but a cup of coffee. So I was hungry, besides being stressed, besides being physically tired after a 2.5-hour drive. Don't get me wrong, I love that drive. It's so beautiful. Anyhow, okay, think. When we get there, we'll just park Harula. We won't go to the hotel. We'll take advantage. You have a lot of time. You can get something to eat, and you can stroll through the town and take some videos. Good plan. Except when I get off the ferry boat, I find the same chaos here on the island. I never saw so many cars on Poros, and I've been coming there for 10 years at least. And I couldn't find a place to park Harula again. Round and round and round and round I went, and it's a really big parking lot. I finally find a place way over by the Piraeus car ferry, but it looked kind of iffy to me. I found a woman policeman, so I asked her, and she, no, you're good. Okay. So I leave Harula, I grab my purse, I grab my gimbal, I have my phone, and I take off down the port. I found a place to have some good Greek yogurt with walnuts and honey. So I had a little food in me, a little protein, and I started down the quay side trying to do some video. But I couldn't even do that. It was so packed with people. People were just everywhere. I could barely get any shots except people. And it was hot. I was tired. I got about a third of the way down the quay side there, and I thought, okay, this is just all people and tourists. I'll go on some of the back roads where I know they have more traditional shops, more local shops. And I did that for a while, but, you know, everything was just catching up on me. The drive, the stress at the ferry boat, the heat, the hunger. And I thought, you know, I just can't do this anymore. So I put away the gimbal, the telephone, and I headed back towards the parking lot. I was literally trudging back to the parking lot. And suddenly my brain started to have a conversation with me. It said, Sherry, do you sometimes forget that you are 78 years old? Well, no, I didn't forget that. The brain went on and it said, you do so much. You have your garden, which is full on. You have your jewelry, which you have to spend a lot of time in the studio. You have the YouTube channel, which now occupies a lot of your time. And you still come down here to do these shows in Poros. And now what are you doing? You're running around the island trying to get some wooden props. Do you think maybe you're doing too much? Well, that did give me pause. And I'm trudge, think. And then the old brain comes in again and it says, Sherry, you just have to admit it. You're just too old. It's just too much and you're too old. Something has to give. Wow. That was harsh, but true. But the thought of giving up my uh, Poros shows, I love coming to Poros. I love the whole place. I always say it's my happy place. And the family that owns the hotel, and the family of people who work there, they're my family on this side of the Atlantic. And I love being with them. Both places, the glamping and the hotel. Trudge some more. Now I'm almost to the parking lot. And I thought, okay, it's time to be reasonable. It's time to be logical. Your brain is right. It's time to let go of the Poros shows. You are just too old for this. Then, just in the nick of time, life stepped in and interrupted my survival mode brain, because there in front of me I see this familiar little face. It's the face of Tilly. Tilly is a dog, a little dog that belongs to my friend Susan, a British girl. And Tilly accompanies his mom every day to the port where she sits and has a coffee or a roll. But now Tilly is sitting upright in the chair, just like a person. No, more like a canine queen. And it just gave me such a giggle. And when Susan spotted me, she waved me over, and of course I went. I wasn't going to miss a chance to sit down with a friendly face. Actually, it turned out to be 3 friendly faces, because Susan's friend Yvonne was there. So I had Tilly, Yvonne, and Susan. And we all started talking and smiling and laughing and feeling light and feeling happy. And everything just started to melt away. And I began to feel centered again, myself again. And I thanked them so much for the company. And I went on, got Harula, and headed to the hotel. Well, just as I made the curve going to the hotel, I saw what all of the chaos, all of the traffic, all of the people, what it was all about. The Naval Academy there was having graduation day. I come up, I am in a total traffic jam, a jam of cadets in white uniforms, of proud parents, of doting grandparents, of girlfriends, of siblings, cars, people acting as though there's no street there, and I'm stuck in the middle of the street. And there's 2 policemen valiantly trying to sort out this joyous, chaotic situation. And this time I didn't get stressed. I just was totally amused. I thought, wow, here you are, right in the middle of life. Life is happening right around you. Yes, it's chaotic, but it's also joyful, and it's fun, and it's a celebration. So from there, I went on to Odyssey, quickly picked up my bag, hugged all my Odyssey family, and then did the whole thing in reverse with all the same stresses and connections, but I was in a better place. So I got back to the glamping, took a shower, laid down, took a rest, and got ready for the evening show, which was lovely. I always enjoy the Dutch girls. They're so great. Very engaged and sharing and open and connecting. And then they invited me, please, to sit and have dinner with them. I don't usually like to do that because they're not free to speak their own language. They want to include me. So, and they're on their holiday. But this time I did. I sat with them for just a few minutes because I was still due to go back across to Poros again to go see the watercolor exhibit of the California girls that I had met the week before. But this time was different. I went to the port, drove Harula to the port, and I had no problem parking. I found a spot for her, and I could take a water taxi across. What a lovely way to travel. You just get in, somebody else does the driving, and you float across to the other side. comfortable, cool, and stress-free. When I got to the exhibit, it was another lovely scene. Great women, great connecting, great sharing. Had some wine, talked with some friends, and finally bid everyone adieu. I was really tired, but I was happy and I was okay. I wasn't stressed. So I was walking back along the docks there, which is a lovely thing to do now. The lights are on and everything is twinkling in the water and it's cool and you can hear laughter coming from all the yachts. And I found a place to get an ice cream. So I got my ice cream. And remember, it was apricot frozen yogurt. And I found a bench and I sat down and I thought, wow, what a day this has been. I mean, really, a very long day because by now it was like 11:30 at nighttime. It had been emotional, and very physical, but very, very draining. And as I sat there, I thought about, wow, how did you almost made a decision to let go of the Poros shows? How could you even think of such a thing? And I thought about it. I thought, I know how. I was tired. I was hungry. I was stressed beyond belief. And I was frustrated. And my survival brain took over and convinced me that I needed to stop doing this. No, I didn't need to stop doing this. I needed to just arrange things better so that I'm not hungry, stressed, hot, and tired. Had I not seen little Tilly and sat with those girls, I don't know what would have happened. I might have made a decision that would have made me very unhappy. And as I sat there, I thought, well, brain, I'm going to have a talk with you because, yeah, I know I'm 78 years old, but I also know that I can do this. I love doing this. Why would I want to stop? I just need to arrange things a little bit better. And I need to also find a way to stop that survival mode brain and let it know there are no saber-toothed tigers around and avoid the brain freeze. So at this age, at 78 years old, I know that I can't listen to everything. I can't believe everything my brain says, especially if I'm hot, tired, hungry, or stressed. If I am any of those things, all I need to do is rest, eat something, talk to some friends, or pet a little dog. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you take something from it. And I hope you share any experiences you may have had like this and what you might do to avoid or stop that cycle as it starts of the bad brain talk. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd love to get a thumbs up. I would really love if you subscribe, but more than anything, I would love your comments. I would love for you to share how you feel about this. Has this happened to you? Have you done this? If so, what do you do about it so it doesn't happen again and again? How do we train that muscle to recognize what's happening? That's it, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope I see some comments. But for now, ciao from Sherry.